All right, you ready to hit Charlotte? This is a weird
Yes.
team.
Yeah.
So I I don't want to throw it to you immediately, but like, am I wrong for thinking as like sad sack as the season has been for the Hornets that they actually kind of have some good options right now? Like they're not. It doesn't feel like they're in. I mean, we probably called them one of the most hopeless franchises, but at least in the immediate, they have some stuff that they could get up to here. And like throw Hayward out. I don't know what to do with Hayward. I don't think he's movable. Maybe next year when he's expiring, that's fine. But like we can worry about where he should go after that. But then like go down the list, like PJ Washington, the restricted free agency, they're sellers. They should be selling, obviously. Like I don't feel like we need to say that. But PJ Washington should have like a significant amount of interest. Just the team that gets him would need to be sure that it was willing to pay what another team's offer sheet was. Like I don't know what we're looking at for him. 20 million a year doesn't seem like insane given the market. Maybe more. I don't know. So you have him available. Kelly Oubre and Mason Plumlee are both expiring. 12.6 million for Oubre, 9.1 for Plumlee. Book Knight could be somebody's second draft candidate if you wanted to just cut bait now. Cody Martin, we've talked about several times. Average of like 7.5 million over the next 3 years. Like that's all stuff that the Hornets could move. Could look to get back younger players. Could maybe get some picks, possibly depending on the Washington situation. Even Terry Rozier, like he makes a lot. It's 21, 23, 25, 27 million over
It's
the
too much.
next three. It's a decent amount. Are you aware this is a tangent of like the weirdness of the partial guarantee in his last year of that deal?
It's just like isn't it 25 of 27 million is guaranteed or something? Like just
Yeah, and do you know what it will take to get that extra 2 million to get up to it's funny.
no.
So he needs to play 70 games in a season that Charlotte also sees the second round of the playoffs in at some point during the life of the contract before that year.
Oh, so he's written that off as a loss
Like
already for
what?
him.
What kind of like I wish I could have seen that negotiation where like no 65 games first round. Like, no. 80 games. Gotta win, gotta make it to game 6 of the conference. Like what a weird, I don't know. Maybe that's more common than it seems like, but that's such a bizarre partial. Anyway, yeah, the Charlotte Hornets are sellers. They're really bad. LaMelo Ball is just about the only piece I think that is, I'd be saying hands off no matter what. And we didn't even talk about Jalen McDaniels. Every time Jaden McDaniels comes up as like everybody wanted him last year and over the summer, Jalen is kind of right there as like the lesser option. So lots of pieces to move. I would be in the hunt for every pick, every second draft guy I could get, all that stuff.
Yeah, I don't disagree with anything you said. You like painted it as a rosier, I think, than I would have. Are they going to have the guts to do it? Like we saw that they were reportedly want a first round pick for Mason Plumlee, and it's like, what are we doing here? I know he's been playing better, but he's on an expiring contract and he's Mason Plumlee. You're not getting a first round pick for him. But the point there is like you don't actually need to do anything to continue sucking. Like you're still going to be
Right.
right in the thick of the Wembanyama sweepstakes, and so I don't like if you want to see if you can bring back Plumlee or Kelly Oubre Jr. Is it worth keeping them on your books? I don't know. I'd be a little bit worried about what PJ Washington could command. I think we saw that he turned down like a $53 million extension, whatever it was. Is he going to cost is he going to get 18 or 19 a year? Could you risk losing him for nothing? That's the name that if I'm them, I'm focused on just because that's the highest stakes that I think they face leading into this offseason where it's all right. If you lose Jalen McDaniels, just kind of whatever. His offense is just filled with misadventure, too much of it for me. But I just sort of wonder, is this a team? What is the edict here? Is it okay? We're going to sell this season, but it's with the obligation to turn around and we have to try and win next season with our high draft pick and LaMelo. There's, I think, the Miles Bridges felony domestic violence charges. They factor into this in the sense of, are they going to bring him back next year? Like what happens with him and how does that impact their view of PJ Washington? I just can't get, this is another team I don't have a great feel for. They're clearly sellers and they have players to sell. But Kelly Oubre Jr.'s injury, I think that complicates things a little bit for them. And then do you want to move Terry Rozier? Like we sort of mentioned that where it's like, do you kind of need his shooting? And he's having a down year, but he's had to play to his role has just been overstretched at points. They're just in a very bizarre situation. And their clarity is going to come over the offseason, I would think, more so than it's going to come at the trade deadline.
Yeah, I think Plumlee is probably the most likely guy to move because of that 9 million expiring, and we've covered several teams that need a backup center or want a backup center. I don't know if I agree that they need one, but like, let's just say it doesn't get them under the tax by like hundreds of thousands of dollars. Just barely doesn't do it. I think. So if I'm the Hornets, or if you're the Hornets, are you interested in Tybal and Korkmaz for Plumlee? Like, is that like,
I would
like
take the Flyers to have Tybal, getting him into restricted free agency, seeing what you could do with an actual wing defender on your team. Yeah, I would do it.
Yeah, I think I would too. And I think but the problem for the Sixers is then you got to do something else to just shave off a few $100,000 more, and maybe you're giving up Springer somewhere else or something like that. But yeah, like, so Plumlee is the most likely guy to move, but it's like, it's not that easy. Like, the number on his salary is like high enough to where it's not that easy to do it. You know, you're talking about.
Would Denver take him into their traded player exception, or that's not someone you're drumming your tax bill up for?
Well, I mean, Denver is, yeah, I mean, that's always been an issue for them. Am I just going to pay a bunch of money for Plumlee? I don't know. When I phrase it that way, it's a tough sell. I'm not sure I can get there.
So
he's going to play like 5 minutes a game in the playoffs too. So, like, I don't know.
So for my Hornets trade idea, I wanted to frame it in, what if they kind of didn't do anything to impede how much they suck this season, but they're taking a higher end swing for the seasons to come. Now, this trade was talked about on No Dunks Inc. podcast. They gave it an F. They were basically disgusted by it. But the Hornets receive Ben Simmons and Joe Harris, and the Nets receive Mason Plumlee, Jalen McDaniels, and Gordon Hayward.
This is no worse than a D-. F is really harsh. I don't know how that's a tough. So wait, I think, first of all, I'm a little surprised at myself that I kind of perked up and got excited when you said Ben Simmons, even though he's such a terrible contract. But for Charlotte, it's like, fuck it, who cares? Like, why not just take take a shot?
I actually was like, is this too bad for the Nets?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't know if, like, so wait, it's Hayward.
It was Gordon Hayward, Kelly Oubre, and Mason Plumlee for Ben Simmons was the trade.
I don't think the Nets are doing that, even if it's really tempting to get off of Simmons' contract, just because, like, Hayward.
It was Ben Simmons and Joe Harris, by the way. So it was Gordon Hayward.
Harris I hadn't even gotten to yet. I think that makes the Nets worse. Although, does it in the playoffs? Probably. I just think Simmons may not be of any use whatsoever, you know, by the second round of the playoffs, and maybe Hayward is, because
if Hayward's healthy, the Nets are better. But that is just like a big
biggest if of all time. Yeah, that's not an F trade. I can't give. That's not a failure. You're not a failure, Dan.
It would be. Would the Hornets be a team that you could see, like, you know what? Let's roll the dice on Ben Simmons right now, because what are the teams that would trade for Ben Simmons right now? I would put the Hornets on the list.
Yeah. How long is that list? It ain't long. Like, they could be at the top if they want. I think that's realistic.